Hari Om. Wishing you all the wellness today. I'm sharing two strong words for you to ponder over. One is beware. The other is be aware. So beware or be aware. That's what you need to ponder, and let me give you some difference between both. Of course, there is huge difference between both these words, beware and be aware. Beware of what? Beware of false ego. Beware of false ego. All that falsehood around this life, which I believe to be real. And be aware of what? Be aware of the separative consciousness that drags me, that we are, I need to be aware that we are one. We are not separate beings. We are one. I need to be aware. That is what we need to be aware at this time. Such a complicated time on earth we are going through. And it's not for now, it's for always that we need to go through this faith, that be aware that we are one and move out of separative consciousness. But why is that we find it so difficult to accept? Because people are afraid that people are afraid to accept the differences. So we don't accept that we are one. That's very easy, that false ego to say we are not one, we are separate. Rather, we need to be consciously aware that we are not different. And those people who can't believe this, not only they lose their purity of heart, but they lose the essence of life itself. So there are few names that are coming in my mind now. Beware, be receptive, be aware, be healthy, be peaceful, be happy. And you can go on making words like that of your choice. Be what you want to become. So for that, you need to be aware. If you're not aware, then the warning comes from the soul, beware. In our ancient teachings, right from Vedic time, it is said, become aware that you are God. Become aware that you are pure, which is called in a very simple, beautiful word in Sanskrit called Aham Brahmasmi. Means I am Brahma. I am the absolute. I am the everything and everyone. Aham Brahmasmi. But by simply saying or chanting Aham Brahmasmi, I don't become Brahma. I don't become that eternal absolute truth, that purity that God wants us to be. We need to practice it, live it, fail many times, get wounded many times, and every time get wounded and bruised, then get up and say, no, we are one. Try from all our inner strength, Aham Brahmasmi. For that, we need to be receptive. We need to be receptive with outside forces, outside lives, all those things which are different than me. So we need to be receptive about it. And for that, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma means all this universe is very much Brahma. Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. All this universe is very much Brahma. Means all this universe that we are living, everything is God. Everyone is God. Every creation is God. anything we see, everything has been created by that holy God. So we have no way of looking at things and people with different eyes and distinguishing that differences, saying that we are different and we cannot be one. This is our false ego which keeps saying that we are not one. So Aham Brahmasmi is a great mantra given at that time for us, that we do not find differences. I'm quoting a shloka from Ishopanishad. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhuta vijanatah tatra ko mohakaha shokam ekvatva manupashyatah. Which means all these delusions and sorrow that there can be for the wise man who realizes the unity of existence by perceiving all beings as his own self. What is delusion? What is sorrow for him? There is no delusion, no sorrow, because he believes everything, he perceives everything as his own self. Unity of existence. And we are talking about unity of existence here. If we start to live in that unity consciousness, that how can we be different? We are not different. We have different colors, we have different languages, we have different geographical boundaries. And not only about human beings, but we need to have this wisdom with all life beings, with every creation of God. We should never hate anyone. Tato na vijuguptase. Tato na vijuguptase. Wise man does not hate anyone. This is coming from time immemorial. Such old verses, such old shlokas, such old wisdom coming from our Vedic times, which says, don't hate anyone. Tato na vijuguptase. So a wise man will not hate anyone. He will not demean himself by hating someone. Beware of being someone. Beware of being someone. Don't try to be someone. The reality is, we should learn the art of being nobody. Nobody. So all the time we try to be someone. Either we try to ape someone or we want to be someone. And in that process, we lose our own reality, our own essence. So beware of being someone. The art of being nobody is to be learned, to be practiced. Being aware, it only comes while you're aware, being aware. Being aware comes with profound observation. And that observation happens when you give time to yourself. When you think about yourself, when you look at people with different eyes, that how can we all hate each other, no matter what we are? We still, there's no question, there's no room for us to hate each other. So what we need to do, what we need to practice is to be tolerant. To be tolerant. To respect one another, be respective of our own, each other's existence, each other's boundaries. For that, we need to be sensitive, to be tolerant, to respect one another, to be sensitive, to hold, to have, to develop pure heart. And the more tolerant we become, we develop that personality in us, which makes enormous room for each other. So to be tolerant, I will be aware of what I should allow inside me and what I should stop inside me. The difference that we find amongst each other We need to overcome that difference. We need to somewhere learn, and that happens only with tolerance. We lose tolerance, we are not aware about what is creeping inside me. So to be tolerant, that itself is to be aware. Then when I'm tolerant, it's easier for us to respect one another, accept one another. If I respect, I accept. So we begin to respect one another, then we accept one another. We need to be sensitive about each other. So if I'm sensitive about each other, then automatically that makes a large, huge difference in my personality, bringing in that cosmic consciousness of being sensitive. So we need to stay away from violence, stay against violence. We might not be directly engaging ourselves into violence or brutality, but stay against that very thought, that very feeling or any activity that is around us. Stay against violence, stay against brutality. That insane to be violent, to allow brutality even in our thought forms. So it's not, we do not require iota of brutality, a little bit of violence, even a thought of violence. We don't need it. That is not productive. If I allow violence and brutality in my thoughts, in my emotions, it's not that we are directly getting engaged into brutality and violence, but I am getting it through my senses, into my body, into my mind. I'm reading, I'm hearing, and I'm through the latest technology, I'm seeing little films and watching those episodes. So we need to voice against brutality, voice against violence. We need to be brave. So to be aware is to be brave, to draw a line. What can my personality accept? And what are those things that my personality needs to reject? So to be aware means to be courageous, to be brave, to be sensitive towards everything. So to beware or become aware. So beware is a warning. That warning also God gives us, that senses. And in that warning, God will not come up, or our teachers, our gurus, our own souls will not come up with a placard and say, beware, you have ended your time up. And when Lord Krishna had incarnated, and while Krishna killed Shishupala, he gave him the warning, beware, I will forgive you for 199 sins. When you finish your 100 sins, you are gone. So that's kind of beware. These are stories which tells us of Krishna's beautiful lifetime, which tells us, our own consciousness tells us, beware, beware, beware. But then we don't allow that to be a big noise, a big sound in our sense faculty. We try to push it away. Oh, it's still 10th time. It's not 99. It's not 100. It's not 50. It's only 2. It's only 3. So we keep pushing that. So we are not aware about our mistakes. So either be aware of what's happening. What are you doing about your life? What are you doing about your emotions, about your thoughts? And if you are not aware, then definitely, surely, there is an alarm bell that's ringing inside us called, which says, beware. It's a warning, beware. It's a warning 2, beware. It's a warning 3. But every time we push it and we pack it up and we throw it, and we keep saying, oh yeah, there's enough time for me to learn. How can I be aham brahmasmi? It's not possible. Okay, our ancient teachings are saying aham brahmasmi. I will learn. It's still time. I'm much young now. So I am allowing from my childhood, from my infancy, this thought that I am different and you are different. So the more we allow that, we are different, then how can we think that we all are God's creation? And the truth of the matter is that we all are one, and we all are the same God's creation. There is nobody else can create this magnificent existence that supports the human lives. So me and the ocean are one, made up in a different way, and we have different qualities. So every life form, a river, it has its own consciousness. A mountain, it has its own consciousness. A grain of sand has its own consciousness. God has filled every life with His divine presence, with His divine consciousness. But we reject that consciousness because we feel my false ego says, I am the biggest. There is nothing bigger than me. There is nothing larger than me. Because I am scientific, I am practical, I am rational, I am intelligent. So there is nothing wrong. Yes, we human beings are rational. We are taught to be rational. We should be rational. We should be practical. We should be scientific. Definitely we should be. But not at the cost of killing your consciousness. Be rational, but don't kill your consciousness. Be practical, but never move beyond your consciousness can catch you. That's where we need to be aware of. And the consciousness keeps saying, beware. Hey you, beware. But we silence that voice. Because this false ego keeps on fanning and keeps on telling that the reality is only me. The reality is only my life. And which gives a false hope of eternity through this physical incarnation. Knowing very well that we are one. So, you need your deep personal time to think and ponder about oneness, one consciousness. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahma. I am that Absolute. I am that purity. I am that very existence that God has created. Every life form I can experience. So you need to learn or practice to be a little more sensitive, little more effort. And you push yourself for some little more effort, then you get closer to the creation of God. And I assure you, you will begin to feel the pain of other creations, other life forms. You begin to feel the joy of other lives. You begin to feel the bliss, ananda of other lives. When we fail to recognize the pain and bliss of others, we are insensitive creatures. And that's when we become brutal, we become violent, we allow, and we become so insensitive towards the brutality around us. We are not bothered about it. And that way, we cannot be conscious, divine human being, consciously aware, a divine human being. We cannot be godly human being. We cannot be a peaceful existence of earth. So I'm just asking you to ponder and think about and give time to yourself to be aware. Otherwise, beware. You will be losing out on many opportunities to live I am God consciousness. So with that, I conclude it's a huge substance that you need to ponder. Until then, stay healthy, stay happy. Namaste.